Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entertainment Dome E3 special.
Hooray!
Yes, this is going to be one of those shows. I am Mr. James Hall, and alongside me is
Mr. Michael Beckwith.
Oh yes, this is going to be one of them shows about a very, very special place.
A magical place known as the Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Otherwise known as where people try and peddle their wares that isn't completed yet and will unfortunately make us very angry when they actually come out and they're not as good. EA.
E3 is very much sort of like a double-edged sword. It can make you so excited to the point where you're in some kind of high. There's so much hype around it, and sometimes you get announcements for new games that just shake you so much that it makes you glad that you're a gamer. For example, last year Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced, and that got everyone super excited. On the other hand, E3 is also a place where games companies and developers tend to make themselves look like awkward assholes, and
oh my god. Yes.
in terms of their press conferences at least, and sometimes it's almost a bit like, why did I even bother watching this?
It's one of the reasons why I freely admit when it comes to E3 I usually wait till after the fact and then look at all the news.
Oh, okay.
Because I've never been a big fan of how they handle things, and it always, as you said, it looks very awkward, and it to me they act so unprofessional and so childish.
I agree, in particular of one certain company that we will get to later.
Oh, that company. Yeah. Yes, there. For the ladies and gentlemen at home, there may be a little bit of raging on both fronts.
Yeah, so make sure your volume's low so that we don't blow out your headphones or earphones, or if you haven't got any and are playing this like through the speakers on your computer, you might want to turn it down lest you get concerned neighbours coming around going, "What was that?"
Have you been fighting?
There's only one person living.
Have you been fighting?
There's only one person living here. Who will I be fighting with?
Schizophrenics. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. But there are some good news. There's some good things coming.
I don't want this to be like a complete negative thing, because it's not. Because I wouldn't consider this E3 to be a disappointment. Far from it.
No, I actually thought it was. To be brutally honest, I actually thought it was quite good compared to last one's.
Yeah, and also I feel like it's important that even though we may bitch about some of these companies and like we may complain about some of the games we announced, in a way we're all winners, because it doesn't matter who you are or what games you play. No doubt there was something at this E3 that has made you very excited. Doesn't matter what the game is. So let's just try and remember that. At the end of the day, we're all winners.
I've had several of those.
Oh. That's good to know. Shall we go from company to company in the way that was done in terms of the press conferences, or shall we just go through the games themselves?
I'd say we could do a bit of both, but
okay.
But where would you like to begin?
Well, let's start with Microsoft, who were the first to have their press conference. Now, I know you didn't watch.
Yes.
I know you didn't watch the conferences. I did, and this is actually my first time doing that for this E3. I actually watched all the conferences. I say watched; it was more like half watched and half sort of followed Twitter for snarky comments from the people I follow.
I always do that. There's always something going on Twitter, like last year with Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
which was hilarious.
But with Microsoft, I don't own an Xbox One. I have no plans of getting an Xbox One. I didn't own a 360 or even the original Xbox. Microsoft themselves as a company just don't interest me. So I've already got a bit of a biased opinion towards the Microsoft conference. It didn't really interest me. At the time, I thought it was like quite bad, but a certain conference that happened later on sort of made me realise actually Microsoft wasn't that bad. Because, for starters, to Microsoft's credit, they did show games. We did have games there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was almost like they sometimes like intersperse the conference with these interviews with like celebrities and stuff like that, and I'm sort of like, yeah, I don't really care. Can I just see the games, please? And this is also a personal thing. Obviously, it's quite biased. None of the games they've showed really grabbed me. To be honest, a lot of the games they showed have all sort of merged together in my mind as sort of one brownish, greyish entity.
this gigantic monstrosity with that guy from Halo's helmet just marching towards the guys going, "Buy me!"
Yeah, well, the first game they showed off was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I couldn't give two shits about COD, so already I was lost. And the trailer was that sort of typical sort of... They kind of do this thing. It seems to me, it's something I noticed. It seems to me like every trailer for a first-person shooter game sort of acts the same, because obviously they're all done from the first person, but it's always like everything starts off really tranquil, everything's sort of like quite calm, even if the situation itself isn't calm itself, there's still like not a lot going on, and then suddenly explosions, and then there's people talking, it's like, oh my god, get down, and then like in the Advanced Warfare the Advanced Warfare
we wish it was War 4. What for?
What for? Yes. What for? What? But then, like, this guy's arm gets stuck in a door, and he's like, "Oh, I can't get out. This thing's gonna blow. You have to go on without me." And he pushes you off, and he goes away, and it's like, "No, character, we have no emotional connection to," and then it explodes.
He's gonna die. Therefore, you must feel something for him, even though that's not how life works. And if you do, that pretty much makes you a sociopath. So, hello. Yeah, this is why I liked the first Wolfenstein trailer back ages ago. It was literally like set up like, oh, there's grinding gears and there's horrifying imagery and the best thing, Jimi Hendrix playing in the background. It was literally from minute one going, yeah, this is not going to be a happy trailer. Get used to this. It was like, that's a first-person shooter trailer. This just sounds... You know how I feel about Call of Duty. I hate this series with fiery passion. It's boring. It hasn't been good since it shifted from World War II to modern day.
Yeah, and now Advanced Warfare's all like, oh, but now it's in the future. And I'm sitting there thinking, so it's like every other sci-fi first-person shooter game.
But Michael, it has Kevin Spacey.
I don't care.
You could make a drinking game out of the last one about democracy. Oh my god, it was literally like, democracy, democracy! It's like, there's something about democracy in this trailer.
I wonder if they're trying to tell us something. Also, another thing about Microsoft's press conference, they did this sort of thing. I didn't realise this until like some people pointed that out to me, but they kind of have this thing where when they show gameplay demos off, they have some guy come up on stage with a controller in hand to sort of like show that they're playing this. But the thing is, though, if you look at them, they're clearly not doing anything with the controller. So what... They're trying to make it seem like it's being played live when in actuality it's all been pre-rendered. And the other thing that I think is really bad is that I think... actually, wait, no, I don't think Microsoft ended off with that. I think that was for later on. But somebody showed off... One of the companies, I think it might have been Ubisoft, showed off a trailer, well, gameplay footage in massive quotation marks for the next Rainbow Six game. And it was like basically like a co-op thing where these people, that like you and your friends had to get into a house, save a hostage, and then get her out whilst fighting terrorists. And it's like, fair enough. And it was obviously pre-recorded, but they had like people talking over it as if they were playing the game.
That's incredibly disingenuous.
Well, the thing it's a terrible idea because, for starters, if you had actual people playing the game and we could hear them talking, it's not going to be very engaging because we're just going to hear people going, do this, do what, James? Just fucking do. Oh, now I'm dead. Oh, thanks, Scott. Well, you didn't tell me what the fuck to do. Oh, fuck this, I quit. But
fuck this game.
That wouldn't have worked. But instead, they decided to go the complete opposite and try to have people that sound like they're playing their game. And if these are real people, these are like the most intense people I've ever seen play a game, because it's like, hey, cover my flag, oh my god, they have the hostage, quick, and they're like, they're about to get lined up, okay, I'm blowing the door, 3, 2, 1, you're not real soldiers, guys. This is not how people talk when we play games. You don't even need to have people talking over it. Are you meant to sort of convince us, oh, but you can play this with your friends? I'm going to play it with my friends, you don't need to convince me otherwise.
This is why I don't like watching E3, because they act like this, and it's like, guys, you do realise that major demographic of video games now is actually between 20s and 30s. We don't act like kids, and the ones that do shouldn't be playing your game.
Yeah.
Stop acting like idiots.
But yeah, again, to stop this from just going completely negative. Going back to the
you negative Judy.
Yeah, going back to the Microsoft press conference, in comparison to like every other conference, I say Microsoft's was average. But again, that's mostly due to the fact that a lot of the games they announced just didn't interest me. In fact, let me get up a list of some of the games that they had. Crackdown for Xbox One. I know some people are excited for that. I don't know if it's a remake or a sequel. It's just called Crackdown.
I will actually check that now.
Okay, well,
live on air.
Whilst you're doing that, another Fable game called Fable Legends was announced.
Oh god, no, not another bloody Fable game.
Cooperative role-playing game it's been described as.
Otherwise known as, it's going to be just as shit as the other two. Because the first one was really good, and then we went downhill from there.
What else? Forza Horizon 2, another racing game. That was kind of what Microsoft in a nutshell to me was sort of like. It's like they opened up, okay, here's a shooter. Okay, what else have you got? Well, here's a racing game. Or what else? Here's another shooter. Okay, what else? Well, here's another shooter. Do you have anything else aside from shooters?
I see a theme here with Microsoft.
We have Project Spark. Oh, okay, I'll give you that. Because admittedly, while Project Spark something doesn't appeal to me, I'll give it credit. It looks pretty, and it's certainly something that I think it would do really well for like budding game designers.
It's a step in the right direction.
Although, to be fair, a lot of people were sort of like, oh yeah, that looks nice. But I think Microsoft kind of shot themselves in the foot. Because obviously, I don't know if you saw the trailer, but at the very end of the Project Spark trailer, the logo appears. And then who should appear but Conker the Squirrel? One of Rare's old characters from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh my god, that
a beloved
game.
gem from the N64 days. And everyone was like, oh my god, Conker's back! Conker's back! And like Conker shows up, he chainsaws the logo, and he's like, oh, I couldn't resist. It's been 10 years since my last game. And it's like, yes? And he says, well, I guess we'll just have to make it ourselves. Project Spark. And it's like, what? So you're not making a Conker game? You're saying...
You're cock-teasing us,
they basically
sir.
went, you guys want a Conker game? Well, fuck you. You guys want it so much, you can make it. And it's like, fuck you.
To be brutally honest, though, after Nuts and Bolts, I think we're kind of happy that Rare isn't making another Conker game, because, God, Banjo...
Well, maybe if Rare had the
2-2.
creative freedom to do a decent game...
Creative freedom under Microsoft? Surely you jest.
It's quite sad, but discussions for Rare is like for another day.
Yeah. Although I will say this, that they had one of the best boss fights. That there is a talking shit, literally a talking shit that sings opera.
Yeah, and
look it
also,
up.
if you're going to play Conker's Bad Fur Day, try and get it on the original N64, because apparently the Xbox remake isn't all that good, and plus they censor it like all hell. Which is kind of like, well, what's the whole point of Conker's Bad Fur Day? That it's a very crude video game, so why would...
Like, the whole shit bit is pretty much lukewarm
Yeah.
down. It's like, oh, well, thanks
But they
for
censor
that.
the word shit throughout that entire section. It's like,
Yeah.
I know what that is. But going back to Microsoft, Halo obviously had a presence. 2 Halo titles were announced. The upcoming Halo 5 Guardians, which all they did was give us like a screen for. I don't think we even saw any gameplay or footage for it.
That's still kind of better than what happened with a certain game that I will rage about very much later on.
And the other Halo title that was announced was Halo: The Master Chief Collection, which is the first 4 Halo games on one disc.
Oh God. This is no.
Well, it's fair. It's fair enough if you haven't played any of the original Halo games and you sort of want to get into it.
The only problem is, from what I've heard, in terms of they tried to do that with the Xbox 360. They ported 1 and 2 over. The problem is, from what I've heard, they worked like arse. So, are they going to fix those problems? Because I don't trust Microsoft to fix it.
I don't know, but it does say that if you buy the game, you get a beta for the Halo 5 Guardians multiplayer.
And that's what they're trying to make you buy it for, pretty much. So yeah, people on the Xbox, if you really, really want the original Halos, maybe buy the originals.
They're cheaper.
They're cheaper, and also you get the cheaper consoles. Good God, you would get the original Xbox for 20 quid somewhere. Just buy the originals and just play them there. They'll play better, they'll work better.
What else have they got? I want to talk about this. Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One. The one game that actually kind of caught my interest. It's a third-person multiplayer shooter, and it's like, oh, really? But it's got a sense of humour. It's got colour. It's got character to it, and that immediately sets it. They clearly, Insomniac Games, thought themselves, okay, we want to make like a multiplayer, open-world, third-person action shooter game. And it's like, okay, let's look at every other third-person shooter out at the moment and just do the opposite of that.
So actually make it good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, I was watching I didn't completely watch the whole trailer because I had the volume like quite low, but it was all very sort of chaotic and again, it has colour. I can't stress this enough. And the fact that a selling point for this game that I'm trying to make is that it has colour.
It's not dirty browns.
Exactly. Although to be...
I got to check this trailer out. What's it called again?
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive. I will be checking it out later. But yeah, I like the sound of this. It's nice to actually get something a little bit different.
Look the trailer up. I think you'll enjoy it. And to be fair, there was another game that was announced at Microsoft press conference. It's not listed on the Wikipedia page, which is really annoying. But it was like a sort of 2D platformer game. It looked a lot like Dust, an Elysian Tale, in terms of its graphics. I don't know if it was the same people who made it, but there's a game for that, and it's again it's the fact it had colour to it that sort of made it stand out, and it wasn't a shooter, which is sort of Microsoft are beginning to sort of get that thing where like all they're associated with are shooters and the colour grey.
That's most shooters in a nutshell at the moment. Let's be very honest. Even Wolfenstein had that.
I should probably mention right now, before we carry on, that it's entirely possible that we will miss over certain games. So if a game that like you wanted to talk about doesn't get mentioned, I apologise, but
he hasn't mentioned that game, the bastard.
It's either, well, the thing is that I've got like Wikipedia up, and they've only got so many titles on here that were announced.
We'll try to keep as many as we can, but if we miss some next time,
yeah.
maybe.
And besides, I think for this one we're going to be focusing mainly on like the main conferences, so we might skim over some other stuff. But carrying on, oh yes, Scalebound. That was something. Hideki Kamiya's game for Microsoft. For those who don't know, Hideki Kamiya is a designer for Platinum Games, and is quite famous for the fact that his games are just off the walls insane.
I like the guy already.
Scalebound is... It doesn't have a Wikipedia page yet, but from what I recall from the trailer, it saw a guy who wasn't Dante. I just want to stress he wasn't
Dante.
Well, you know how we had not Dante in the Devil May Cry reboot. This guy's not not Dante.
But was he better than not Dante?
Well, his design didn't suck, and he seemed quite likable. But I don't know.
So already better than not
Dante.
And
it seems like the game is like a sort of... It has you fighting dinosaurs and dragons and shit like that.
I'm sorry, wait, dinosaurs?
Well, it's called Scalebound, and I can't remember if it's just dragons or if there were dinosaurs as well. But you're basically fighting huge reptiles.
I like this game already. This is already a game I want to play. Especially as, let's be honest, most dinosaur or games where you're fighting large reptile games are usually not very good or released on consoles like they shouldn't be, like Monster Hunter. Sorry, Nintendo, but why do you keep releasing Monster Hunter on consoles like the DS? Release it on PC! Release it on PC and the consoles. They'll sell better, we promise you.
We do have a Monster Hunter on the Wii U now.
Yeah, but not many people are buying the Wii U at the moment.
Well...
Until the Wii U starts selling, but which is a plot point that will come later on in this little podcast.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but...
Oh my god. This overarching thing, people could go, they're mentioning something a lot, they're building this up a lot. Yeah, it's basically like, think of the Emperor from Star Wars, this overarching villain. And then when you finally see it, it's like, oh my god. That's essentially what this character is.
Yeah, this is what we're building up to. But I think I've pretty much run out of stuff to talk about Microsoft. Like I said... Their conference was just average, in my opinion. Nothing really stood out to me.
Nothing really stood out, but it wasn't rage.
It wasn't terrible. I don't think it would elicit the kind of rage that they got last year.
No. Oh my god! Last year when they showed the Expo.
I think somebody said that the kindest thing they could say about the Microsoft press conference this year was that it wasn't as bad as last year's. It's like,
But I can still remember last year's when people were clapping, and I can't remember who it was. I think actually went. That's not us clapping. That is the Xbox employees clapping in the background. It's like,
yeah,
oh
that's actually going to be a recurring thing, by the way. During some of these conferences, well, not some, I'd say Microsoft, EA, and definitely Ubisoft, you could tell they had plants.
Oh, EA, I've got a few things to say about a certain game.
Some of these audiences, like, in fact, the Microsoft audience, they were all wearing these glowing green wristbands for no reason except to be distracting. And it's like,
what do you want to wear around your arm? A piece of snot.
Well, the thing is, though, it's most likely Microsoft put those bands on all the people who came in and then said, by the way, they have bombs in them. If you don't applaud, they will go off.
We will murder your family if you do not applaud us.
And I think it was during the... I know I'm jumping ahead, but in the Ubisoft conference, there was a bit where you could hear people applauding, but then, like, if you looked at the audience, you could tell people weren't clapping.
Oh, I hate it when companies do that. It's like, guys, we're not blind and we're not stupid. Well, most of us aren't stupid. We can tell that it's you. Please stop it. It makes you look even worse than you already are.
Well, the lack of applause would just be, like, really awkward.
Yeah, but just then give us something to applaud for. That's what you're meant to be doing. I don't know. It's just it's a frustration.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's move away from Microsoft and move on to the next conference that happened, which was EA.
Oh, can I please start?
Go ahead.
There's a certain game I want to rip into.
Is it Star Wars?
It is indeed. It's Battlefront. When I was checking all the trailers for the games and everything, there was a 2-minute trailer for Battlefront. I was like, great, 2 minutes. This is gonna be good. We're gonna see, even if it's not the full game, maybe we'll get like a trailer, like a CGI trailer or something like that, or something that will get me pumped for the game. And then there was the developers talking. I was like, okay, maybe this is like the first minute, and then the rest of it is the actual gameplay. And then they keep talking. And then they kept talking. And then they kept talking. And talking. And talking. And talking until the last 20 seconds of the flipping trailer. And then they said, early game footage. No, what they showed in that last 20 seconds, no, that was not early game footage. This is me made by DICE, who made Battlefield 4 and everything like that. So I'm expecting, right, so it's going to look kind of like Battlefield 4's engine and all this stuff. That did not look like the in-game engine for Battlefield. That looked like a CGI cutscene. I literally was like, you are fooling no one. Who are you kidding? It was like... And then they were like, so what do you think? It's like, what is there to think? You showed us nothing. Except saying, oh, but we're building up to be like the originals. It's like... And they showed the guy acting like Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. Like seeing Ben's ghost. It's like... No, guys. You're not fooling anyone here. It felt really bad, and it's made me think that Battlefront is going to be even worse than I already thought. They're shown pretty much nothing, next to nothing of gameplay, and even then, the bit they showed, I'm not convinced is actual gameplay footage. And with EA's policy at the moment when it comes to, well, any of their games, I don't think it's going to go very well. I think we're going to have microtransactions up the wazoo. Oh, yes, everyone's favourite thing. Microtransactions everywhere.
Like, as soon as you started the game, alright, where's my first gun? Would you like a bullet? Yes, please. That'll be an extra 5p. What?
Oh, God, no. Don't say that. But it's like, I can remember the second Battlefront game. And it's like you could play as all of the classes off the bat, and it was great. And you had like your favourite classes, like Rebels. I always loved playing as the Wookiee. In the Clone Army, I always played as this commander who had a fucking minigun strapped to his arm. Really great things. And then for the latest couple of games for EA, like the whole shenanigans with Plants vs Zombies. You started from one thing and you had to build up to get to the next class. The thing is, it took so long to get to the next class that it was either you had to wait ages and ages and ages, or you could buy a shortcut.
Ugh.
Yeah, I am not looking forward to Battlefront, and fellow Star Wars fans who are friends of mine, I honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Don't buy or pre-order Battlefront until after the fact. Until we know what EA has done. Because until then, if we pre-order it and buy it off the bat, they're going to scrounge us. They're going to take all of our money. They're going to keep putting transactions in. So all I ask is please wait and see. And I hate saying this because I wanted this game for so long. And this looks like it's going to ruin it. Especially after the fact that we thought Battlefront 3 was going to be cancelled. And it was cancelled. And then it's like, oh, it's actually coming back. EA's making it. Oh no, why? I don't want to say this, but I'm actually... Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm actually going to say it. I wish Activision had this.
James,
I wish...
I don't want to worry or anything, but like a pit to hell has just opened up next to me. And demons are sprawling forth.
Has hell frozen over?
I think it has.
Yes, I have actually said it. I wish Activision was doing this. Because, by God, at least... They're shit, but at least they're honest about their shit. Actually, no. Not Activision, because they are shit. Treyarch. Because Treyarch doesn't take themselves seriously. Like, you'll notice when you see Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare series, which is like, shit. And then you get the Black Ops games. The Black Ops games don't take themselves seriously at all, and they're just stupid. Stupid. I wish they did it. At least they would not charge you up the wazoo like EA has been doing with Battlefront. Can we just have a game and actually have it, complete?
Yeah, I do get what you're saying with that. Going back to Activision real quick, actually, according to the Wikipedia page, the 3 games that they were showing at this E3 were Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which we've already briefly discussed, which just looks like Call of Duty in space.
In space.
Yeah. Skylanders Trap Team, which I don't particularly care about, and not Halo. I mean Destiny.
Oh,
I know people are.
The console shooter.
I know people are so hyped up for Destiny, and that's fine. But to me, I just look at Destiny and I think it's just not Halo. It's not Halo. That's what it is.
I wouldn't mind that so much if it's like I notice. I'm not trying to sound like a PC master race, but I will say this. After playing shooters on PC for so long, trying to go back onto console with a shooter is a nightmare. It really is. Like, it feels slower. Like, your reactions feel slower, the controls feel very clunky and horrible. So, to me, I personally will not play Destiny, because I'll be like, I can't play it, because I literally feel so blooming sluggish on it. If it was on PC, it'd be like, yeah, I can use the mouse, so it's easier to move and easier to aim. And I can actually, hit people. As opposed to console, I'm like, I'm dead.
Yeah, I'm not a PC gamer. I personally cannot play PC games to save my life. But watching my dad play some of them, it's like the frame rate or the quality of the frame rate is like, damn, that's good. It's almost
yes.
like it. I tried playing The Walking Dead on there, using the PC, and it was like just so smooth. I actually wasn't able to handle it. I was like, I don't like this. What's going on?
It looks too much like real life.
It's too smooth.
It's like I actually did a thing like my friend said when I first got my new computer. My friend said, check the frame rate, see how good it is. And I played Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider on it. And I checked the frame rate. I had 110 frames a second.
I'm not good with numbers. Is that good?
Well, usually consoles locked at between 30 to 60.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So, nearly double.
Speaking of Tomb Raider, sequel coming out.
Oh my god, this is the thing I'm the happiest about.
Oh, really?
But should we save that for the Square bit, or should we do that
if
now?
like Tomb Raider's like your big one, let's save that for the end so we can end on a bit of a high note.
Yeah.
Let's go back to EA real quick. What else did they announce? A new Dragon Age game.
Oh god. Have you played the Dragon Age?
I
games?
haven't. I'm not that interested in Dragon Age.
How to put this? It's like Mass Effect, but it's a similar vein to Mass Effect. But the first one was good, like really damn good, like a hidden gem. And it was like, oh, this feels really good. It's kind of Witchery, but obviously not as good as The Witcher. But that's something we'll come on later when Witcher comes up. But it was good. Like it was a very good RPG, very good with its choices, very good with its storyline and characters. Like some of its characters were amazing. Sheo especially was like one of my favourite characters. Basically, she is a stone golem. And is like the most sarcastic cow on the earth. It's hilarious. She has like a deep gravelly voice. Hi. It's like, I love this character, and she's so sarcastic. It's brilliant.
Sarcastic characters are usually the best.
Yeah, it's also Morrigan as well. Is also one of my favourite characters. But then we got to Dragon Age 2, which was one of the biggest bait and switches ever. They built this up like, this is going to be the new Dragon Age. We've been working on this for years, and all of a sudden it's going to be fantastic. It was the same. It wasn't the same thing. Like the combat was new and it was good. That was one of the only good points. And also, one character out of the entire roster was interesting.
Ouch.
And that's because he was the narrator.
Oh.
He was a dwarf with a crossbow, and he's like, yeah, guys, how you doing? It's like this smooth talking dwarf. It's like, okay, you're interesting. You're the only one interesting out of his entire cast. And it was a flop. And the worst thing is, Dragon Age 1 had like loads of settings. You went to a lot of different areas. Dragon Age 2 was the same thing again and again. You went to the same bloody cave again and again and again. It was infuriating.
I can tell you're angry because you're hitting your desk.
Yeah, I'm tapping along. It's that bad. It was literally like the biggest flop. It was like, what the hell were you doing? And it turns out they weren't working on it for years. They were working on it for months, and they literally pushed it out the door. It was bad, and so we were a little bit skeptical with 3, especially after Mass Effect 3.
Well, it's not titled Dragon Age 3. It's titled Dragon Age Inquisition. And just to go off real quickly, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, and it talks about in the bit under plot. Creative director Mike Laidlaw confirmed the overall plot of Dragon Age Inquisition will be saving the world from itself. Oh, aren't you precious? I bet did it take you like 5 whole minutes to come up with that story? Oh, bless your cotton socks.
And that's already bollocks. That's the thing, that's already bollocks. Because we had that with Dragon Age 2. It was saving the world against itself, and that didn't end very well.
I just find that, I don't know what I find so frustrating about that phrase. It's like,
it's stupid.
Maybe because
It really
because I find it a bit patronising. We're saving the world from itself. It's like I guess
we're doing something new, guys.
I guess I'm fed up with this whole like, oh, you know those stories where you get like the human race is destroying the planet. Oh, we're so evil, we're so tainted, we're so wrong, we're just wrong, and it's like, oh, go away.
Stop being so horrible. It's like, yeah, I hate that phrase as well, and I can understand your frustrations with it. My frustration with it is that it's a flat out lie. Because from all the trailers we've seen in this game, all the advertisements, you're not saving the world from itself. You're saving the world from the horrible monsters that are coming out of the sodding ground to tear you to shreds.
But you see, the monsters came from the world, so we are saving the world from itself.
The thing is, you're actually kind of right.
But surely by that logic, it can sort of apply to any sort of game. It's like
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, in Lord of the Rings, we need to defeat Sauron. We need to save the world from Sauron. Well, actually, since Sauron came from the world, we're saving the world from itself.
Or
like even in fucking like a Call of Duty game, we need to take down these terrorists. Well, didn't these terrorists come from the world? Yeah. Well, that means we're saving the world from itself. I'm just gonna stop now before this goes out of hand. Let's just move on to what else EA's got.
Before you finish, again, this is another thing. I checked. This is for the PC players who want to play Dragon Age. Be very careful because you will have to use Origin, because EA don't like Steam because they want more money than they already get from all the transactions in their games. So what they're doing is they basically moved it to Origin, which is their own Steam-like. The problem is, Origin is shit. It basically is, it's like Steam, only not as good, takes a long time to do, and also it's more expensive. A lot more expensive. Like, 50 quid for a normal game expensive.
Ugh.
Yeah, so kind of stay away, or if you really, really want to pre-order Dragon Age Inquisition, which you really shouldn't, really shouldn't, after Dragon Age 2, I really advise against it, and Mass Effect 3. Even though I liked most of Mass Effect 3, there's still a lot of problems that stop me from pre-ordering Dragon Age Inquisition. I would say if you really did want to, get it from Amazon. At least it's cheaper.
Speaking of Mass Effect 4 was announced.
Yes, I heard about this, and also
we know bugger all about it. But...
Oh, we know a couple of things. One of the major things is that the original company is not doing it. It's being done by another BioWare.
Another BioWare? Oh, so another section of BioWare.
Yeah, so it's not the original Mass Effect was done by BioWare Montreal. This is being done by BioWare. Let me actually check this up. Mass Effect 4. It doesn't say, but it is being done by a different area of BioWare. This could work in either two ways. No, stop playing. This could either go in two ways. This can either go really well or really shit.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but the last time a BioWare RPG was announced that wasn't being done by BioWare themselves, but another section of BioWare, that was Sonic Chronicles on the Nintendo DS. That game wasn't very good.
Yeah. There was also BioWare Mythic, which also released a... Did they release the Warhammer Online game? I can't remember, but they did a Warhammer that used the assets from Warhammer Online and did a Warhammer League of Legends style game. There was one problem. It was shit. Like, holy crap, this is bad. Levels of bad. And it actually got canned, and then Mythic got shut down. Because EA like to shut down everything. Yeah. They are literally that meme where it goes, shut down everything!
That reminds me of a GIF that I saw earlier today, because in case Battlefield Hardline was also announced, the new Battlefield game.
Ah, yes.
And somebody had this great GIF where they had meanwhile at EA headquarters, and there's some guy in a suit in the EA HQ looking at a copy of Battlefield, it was either Battlefield 3 or 4 on his desk. He's just looking at it, and on either side of it are copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Payday, I think it's called. What's that heist game with the clowns?
Payday. It is Payday.
Yeah. He's got copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Payday next to it. He sort of looks at all three boxes, has a sort of, wait a minute, what if he pushes all three boxes together and it forms the box of Battlefield Hardline, and he's like, because that's essentially, in fact, let me get up Battlefield Hardline, because I was looking at it earlier, and it was Battlefield Hardline's plot. The plot revolves around Nick Mendoza, a SWAT officer who is seeking vengeance across the United States. Why is every gritty protagonist seeking vengeance?
Because they want to be a gritty protagonist without vengeance.
Why can't we, seek something else? Like a sandwich. Why can't
redemption?
Why? Oh, not redemption. I'm sick of redemption.
Looking for their lost love.
Let's just move on. I don't want to talk about... I don't want to talk about Battlefield.
I'm going soppy in my old age.
I don't want to talk about Battlefield because it's just another shooter.
I do agree. I will say this as well, is that it looks, from what I've seen of Hardline, it looks like they're trying to copy Payday, and I'm sorry, if you really want a good Payday experience, play Payday. It's great. It's actually really good and entertaining.
Yeah, a friend of mine absolutely loves that game. EA also announced The Sims 4 for PC, which
Oh God, no.
I
Yeah, go on.
well, I was just gonna say, I just The Sims again. This is one of those things. I'm sort of like, okay, it got announced. It's like The Sims 4, bigger than ever, better than ever. I'm like, okay, carry on.
I would like to play Sims, but there's one thing that keeps holding me back. They keep making tons and tons and tons of expansion packs and sell them as full price games each. Like EA keeps doing this. Like they keep and I can't. Well, I can blame EA because I think Sims has been always owned by EA. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. But
again, I don't know.
Commenters comment if I'm wrong, but it has always been owned by EA, and the expansion pack's always like 20 to 30 quid. I'm like, no, I could get a couple of good new games for that. I could get Murdered Soul Suspect right now for that price, and I've heard that's not bad.
Just going off a bit of a tangent about Murdered Soul Suspect, I was really looking forward to that game. Then reviews came out, and it just sounds really average. I'm sort of like, oh.
I could deal with average though. I'd still give it a shot.
Maybe, but yeah, in like maybe 10 years' time, when you buy like a game
cheaper. It's cheap now, but I mean, like when it goes down to like tenner or something.
Maybe, but well, I was just gonna say that like in like 10 years' time, EA will like sell you a game. You'll open the box, there'll be no disc inside, and you'll be like, wait, where's the disc? Where's the disc? Oh, that 40 quid was for the box. If you want the game, there'll be another 40.
Oh God.
I've got 40 for you. 40 middle fingers in your face.
I will say as well that Murdered Soul Suspect, it can't be any worse than Beyond Two Souls. Well, it can't be, surely.
Well, Murdered Soul Suspect doesn't have David Cage working on it.
That's a blessing. That is a very big blessing. And it also looks more interesting, except that it doesn't have Ellen Page, which is a shame because I like Ellen Page a lot.
Conversation for another time, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll have a David Cage special.
Carrying on with EA's list, a whole bunch of sports games were announced. NHL 15, which is just hockey. Madden NFL 15, which brings in the revolutionary new feature where you can actually alter where you tackle people.
Oh my god!
EA Sports UFC, which allows you to play as Bruce Lee.
What?
Yeah, EA Sports UFC will have Bruce Lee as a playable fighter.
Next, let's have Chuck Norris. Or Mr. T.
Suck it.
Oh, God.
What else?
This reminds me of the Rocky. Do you remember the Rocky video games?
No.
There were 2 Rocky video games. They were actually pretty decent. I think it was the second one that actually you got to play as Mickey. I repeat, Mickey, his bloody old trainer. It was hilarious. They actually... And his entrance theme was the Rocky theme tune, but being played on, the old pianos that were like in the westerns.
Oh yeah,
it was being played on one of them.
That actually sounds amazing.
It was actually kind of funny, and also there was you got to play as the Rocky statue.
That sounds really random.
It was really random. It was like I don't even care anymore. This is hilarious. It was a decent game. The Rocky games were actually pretty decent, but unlike the EA games, which are mediocre and just the same game repackaged.
Yeah. Speaking of the same, FIFA 15 was announced. Which, by the way, James, I hope you're sitting down for this because this is fucking mind blowing. You sat down.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting down. Tell me. I can't hold it.
Okay, FIFA 15 is going to have realistic grass graphics.
Grass graphics.
Suck on that, fish AI from Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yes, that's what we really care about.
I want FIFA 15 to have that as its solo selling point on the back of the box.
We have realistic grass graphics.
I don't want Rooney or Ronaldo or Messi or any of them out on the front cover. I want grass.
I don't even like flipping footballs. This is good. I don't even like football, but this realistic grass graphics. Ooh, that's gonna sell it for me.
To be fair, FIFA 15 wasn't the highlight of that conference. This was the highlight. EA Sports PGA Tour, which is another golfing game. It's like, oh, okay. What are you gonna have with this? well, we've decided to have these like strange fantasy courses where you can play golf on a battleship. I'm sorry, what?
It makes it more interesting.
Look up the trailer after this is done, because it's basically like, it's like Call of Duty just burst into the middle of this golfing championship. These battleships are shooting at each other, and there's like, oh, we're gonna have situations like this. I'm like,
you're golfing to take out enemy troops.
I'm sitting there thinking, this isn't Mario Golf. Like, what?
Is it really bad to say that that actually makes it sound interesting? You've taken a sport that is mediocre at best.
To be fair, it probably would. So, but yeah.
Okay, I'll give you props for that, EA. That was actually a good chuckle.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one.
I was watching it with like these other people as well, and they just didn't know what to think. But some of them were just cracking up, sort of like, "What am I watching?"
I actually kind of like that. I mean, that's actually...
Yeah, look it up. And according to this, the only other, I suppose, really the only EA title that most people really sort of tuned in to care about was Mirror's Edge 2.
Yep. Oh, I so want this to be good. Please don't screw this up, EA. Please don't.
Yeah, it still looks like it's still in early development, but I hope for the sake of all the Mirror's Edge fans that it's good. I tried playing the demo. I sucked at it, so I was like, never mind.
It was one of those games of it was hard. It was hard to learn, but once you learned it, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
There was also something else that EA represented. This was BioWare Montreal. The reason why they're not doing Mass Effect 4 is because they're doing another new IP. I don't think they released the name for it yet, but they're doing a new IP, and it's another sci-fi.
Okay.
And I looked at some of the stuff, and I'm like, this looks like Mass Effect. I know that's a bit unfair considering their major thing is Mass Effect and the Star Wars games, but it's like, what are you doing? It's very early development, so I'm not gonna rage at them for this. If anything, I'm actually looking kind of forward to it because it's a new IP. But at the same time, I hope for the best, but we'll see. From what I've seen so far, it's like this looks like another Mass Effect or a spin-off. And please let it not be a spin-off, because the only other spin-off there was terrible. It was Mass Effect Infiltrator for the iPhone.
Ooh.
And it was shit.
Every time I hear, like, for mobile devices, I saw all my interest in, like, what I'm watching is just immediately gone.
Like, Deus Ex, The Fall.
Was that?
The Fall of Deus Ex. Yeah, it was literally Deus Ex for the iPhone, and it was terrible in every way. And then they tried to port it to PC and everything. Kind of like, they did it at the same time they did a port of Batman Blackgate.
Oh, yeah.
Which also sucked. Although I will say this. Batman Arkham Knight. Oh my god, that looks amazing.
It does look good. Arkham Knight is like one of the few reasons why I will get a PS4. Not now,
Same.
but later.
Same here. Well, it's not coming out till 2015.
Yeah, it got pushed back to 2015, which doesn't surprise me all that much.
I'm kind of glad of that. If they make it, if it's more development time, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Although that doesn't always mean it's going to be made better.
Yeah.
Biscuit said, because they did that with Watch Dogs, and Watch Dogs, he said, wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't as good as it was made out to be. It wasn't It wasn't 9 out of 10 good. It was more like 7.5, 8 good.
Yeah.
Which is still good. It's still
good.
a good game, but it's not as good as it was as built up.
You know what, whilst we're on the subject of Watch Dogs, let's move away from EA's press conference and get on to Ubisoft's, which I would argue...
Dun 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 dun.
Ubisoft, what happened to you, man?
They became the Empire.
I think all my anger and rage has like been sizzled out because like I raged so much on Twitter whilst watching the Ubisoft conference, so I think it's all gone out there. Now I'm just sort of just exhausted with.
Would you like me to rage for you?
No, you don't have to. It's just
because there's one that I saw that made me very, very angry, and Ubisoft. It showed that Ubisoft are very
I think
cowardly in some
I think
respects.
I think I know what you're talking about, but we'll get onto that in a sec once we talk about the games.
Okay.
Ubisoft's conference was quite possibly one of the most unprofessional things I have ever seen. Because E3 is all about having professional, that's a key word here for this discussion, professional games designers or developers or what have you, coming up on stage and saying, here's what we're making, here's why you should be interested and why you should buy it. Did they get like the head of Ubisoft to host this event, or like a high-ranking games designer of Ubisoft? No, they got Aisha Tyler, an American comedian, who, by the way, isn't funny.
Oh, brilliant!
And it's not like, I'm not saying you can't have humour during a press conference. I mean, look at Nintendo. Like when we get to those, they had like jokes at all the places. But the thing is, the difference with like other conferences with comedy is that A, they're funny, but it's like, oh, Michael, isn't humour subjective? True, fair enough. Some people might find Aisha Tyler funny, but then the biggest problem I had with Aisha Tyler isn't that the jokes didn't come naturally. It wasn't natural humour. It was quite literally Aisha Tyler looking at the camera and going, "You guys ready? Because I'm about to make a joke. Are you ready? Here's the joke. The joke's coming up right now. You ready for the joke? Okay, joke. Hey!" And it's like, fuck off.
You have failed.
I wanted her gone, because like every time she came out, I was just like, I'm gonna say something really funny and witty, and it's not really witty, but you're gonna laugh anyway. And it's like, I just want to see the game.
It sounded very awkward, from what you're telling me. It sounds like she was very awkward.
It was, and there was a point where, because another Just Dance game got announced, which is like, fine, whatever. These are now a yearly thing, I suppose.
Couldn't care less.
And then,
do I look like a dancer?
Then they introduced this I think it was like, because now with Just Dance 2015, you don't even need to be in your house to play it, because we'll even choose like an app so you can play it with your mobile. And it's like,
what's the point?
Really? And then they got a bunch of people on stage to use this mobile app to dance. It was one of the most...
What is the point?
Like 20 so people who have been paid to look like they're having fun.
Right, I'm just going to say this straight off the bat. If you're going to make a dance game and you're just going to make it to use it for your phone, you have failed your dance game. Dancing, you are meant to get up and dance, not use your fingers.
I can't remember the exact details around it, but like I think the thing is though, I don't think it's like you press the buttons to dance with it, but it's like. In fact, no, I'm just going to look it up because I don't want to get this wrong. I feel like I need to talk about this.
Go for it.
It's okay. It's Wikipedia article, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Just Dance now will be an app that lets players play Just Dance anywhere after syncing up a device with the website and another screen connected with the internet. Okay, because I don't think you play it with the buttons. I think you dance with the phone.
Oh, that's gonna look not awkward at all.
Out and about, you can play Just Dance anywhere you want. Okay, Ubisoft, people don't dance out and about. There are only two places where people dance. Either on their own when no one's watching, or when they're pissed as all hell and in a very dark room.
Yep.
Nobody dances in public.
Unless they're doing dancing, but then they're trained to dance.
Yeah, professional dancers can get away with it, because they look amazing.
Yeah. Not when you're looking like your dad at a wedding.
Yeah. No, I say that. I dance like a dad at a wedding. I can't show it off since this is like audio, but just trust me. I dance like a dad. So
do I, don't worry. I move my arms in full, as if I'm punching an invisible wall.
Yeah, so.
This is such a stupid idea. And dancing with your phone, so holding your phone as you're dancing. That sounds incredibly bad.
Feel free, future commenters, to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like to me.
That's bad idea. I've never been a Just Dance fan, ever. I don't play Just Dance, don't play those sing-song games. I only ever had one Guitar Hero game. Which was good.
Just Dance, much like SingStar, is one of those things you get together when there's a bunch of you. You've had a couple of drinks. You just want to have some stupid fun. You put that on because no one plays that on their own.
I play Buzz with people and get drunk. That's better.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, where's the Buzz games? Where are they gone?
Into the abyss, apparently.
No, come back, Buzz. You were entertaining. Poor Buzz.
Poor Buzz. What else did Ubisoft have? More shooters like Rainbow Six, what I talked about. The Division, which apparently some people are really excited for, but don't really care.
From what I've seen of that actually, it looks okay so far, but it needs more. We need to see a little bit more and them to go in depth into it to actually give a good idea.
Yeah. Though to be fair, it did even like I normally get quite bored with shooters just by looking at them, but the Division looks like it could be interesting. Speaking of interesting, I will give Ubisoft this. They had a couple of interesting things. The Crew was shown off, which I had heard about before, but like this one sort of reminded me of how what's a really good idea was. It's basically an open world racing game. And it spans across the entirety of the United States, and it's all done. No,
what?
No. And this is true, and it's like all done in like real time. So it takes 90 minutes to drive from coast to coast in game.
This actually sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting, although Aisha Tyler kind of fucked up
when
because the thing is, obviously there's no loading screens as you're going through it. It's all seamless. As you're driving across America, which is good because it would really suck if you're about to cross the border into a state and a loading screen pops up. But to have it like no loading screens at all is a really cool idea. Unfortunately, Aisha Tyler said the game requires no loading at all, which is wrong. No game requires no loading.
I was about to say that's impossible.
We have stuff that we have like things that cover up the loading screen, but loading exists.
You have to kind of load everything. Everything needs loading that is like a disc. DVDs, Blu-ray, games, all of them need loading times.
I don't want to go back to Aisha Tyler, but like I looked up a Wikipedia page, and apparently she's a big gamer and all this, but if she is, she's a very bad one, because clearly she does not know what she's talking about.
I'll be honest, it sounds like Ubisoft needed Zelda Williams, who I think was at E3. I think she was with Nintendo.
I think I heard a rumour about that, and I do recall when during Ocarina of Time in 3D and Skyward Sword's release, Zelda Williams and her father Robin Williams, yes, that Robin Williams, the actor, did like take part in the advertising campaigns for it. I
like Zelda. Yeah, I can remember that. The trailers for that.
Zelda Williams is cool.
Yeah,
because she was named after a video game character, and she's taken that with stride.
And she is a proper gamer. She every time you see her, she's about video games. She knows what she's talking about.
And you know Robin Williams is a gamer because he named his friggin' daughter Zelda.
Can I just say how flipping awesome Robin Williams is in every single way? I think that deserves its own podcast, but yeah, just to say, Robin Williams is brilliant.
Aisha Tyler is not.
No. So, for those who are saying, oh, you're moaning because you're moaning about a woman at an E3. No, we would very happily have Zelda Williams because she knows what she's talking about. As well as Lisa Foyles.
I'm not complaining about Aisha Tyler being at E3 just because she's female. I'm complaining because I don't find her funny. I don't think she knew what she was talking about. And I just don't want her there. She doesn't belong there.
And we will be mentioning something about women very, very soon in this Ubisoft conference. Yeah. We promise you.
Very soon. What else did Ubisoft announce?
Valiant Hearts? Is that the name of one of them?
Yes, Valiant Hearts. And I want to sort of like not spend too much time talking about this because when this got announced, the people I was watching it with got very, very testy.
Really?
Well, because Valiant Hearts is a game set in the First World War. Apparently, and it says here, the game is inspired by letters written during the Great War. And this year marks the 100th anniversary of the First World War. And they're saying like, oh, we're releasing this game to celebrate the First World War, and it's like,
wrong choice of words there.
You want to celebrate one of the biggest disasters to ever hit the entire world.
Until the even worse one several years later.
You want to celebrate something that God knows how many people died in. So yeah, the game itself will probably be very good.
They picked... this is going to sound incredibly bad, and I do apologise in advance, but they at least picked the right one. They didn't pick World War II. Because, for those who don't know, Valiant Hearts, you are meant to be like trying to reunite this German soldier with his lost love, and he actually gets help from the Allies, like the French, the English, all this lot. This is Cliff Notes. They don't like just go, oh yeah, we'll help you. But In World War One, this is the history nerd coming out from me. In World War One, it was not like World War Two. They weren't fighting Nazis. World War One was essentially a cockfight. Which empire had the biggest knob? And they were all knobs. And the soldiers were not. They were like, we are doing this for our homeland on this side, and it's like they didn't hate each other. And it's like, hell, you can look at like the most famous story, the Christmas, when we put aside our differences for that one day. It showed that it was like, yeah, we're normal people, and if it came to it, we could probably like each other. That was World War One, and that's what made it even worse, was the fact that it was a stupid war that should never have happened in the first place. As most wars should not happen in the first place, but you know what I mean. Like, this is a war that had no reason to be fought other than the fact that empires just wanted to look better. That was the big problem, and that's what I think Valiant Hearts is picked the right thing, because it would have been a lot harder to sell if it's like, you are trying to reunite a Nazi with his former love.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. It wasn't Nazis in World War One.
No, not at all.
But I'll tell you what. Let's move on from the sort of slightly touchy subject of that. Let's move over.
We're going to get commenters going, how dare you!
Yeah, it's a very touchy subject, one I don't want to spend too much time on. Let's move on to what James has been wanting to talk about throughout this entire podcast. Assassin's Creed Unity. Fire away.
Oh, flipping hell. This one. Yes, Assassin's Creed Unity. From the yearly saga that has been getting continuously shit until Black Flag, which actually introduced ships. That was actually interesting, but the storyline was still crap. We're getting Unity, set during the French Revolution,
where everyone speaks with a British accent for some reason.
Oh, that's nothing compared to Assassin's Creed 1, where everyone, when you're assassin, you're Middle Eastern, but you talk with an American accent. Fuck that game. I like 2 onwards, because these were honest, but Unity is set during the French Revolution, and one of the key aspects is you can play co-op, campaign. There's one little thing. There's no female protagonist. In the normal campaign, you play as a guy. Fair enough. I would prefer a female protagonist by now, because we've had men all the bloody time, but okay. But in the co-op, you'd think there'd be at least one female character playable. Nope. All of them are men. And Ubisoft gave out not 1, but 2 reasons why this is the case. The first reason was it would be too hard to animate a new female character.
But James, women have like boobs and not penises.
Because as we all know, boobs are always big.
And they walk differently, and they have longer hair. It's like.
And also, they really didn't make a female protagonist in Assassin's Creed Liberation. Oh wait, they did! They could just reuse assets. They've done it before. They could do it again. And then when that was called out on and just called pathetic, because it was really fucking stupid.
Especially because someone did a great thing on Tumblr where like Ubisoft said, "Oh, it would take too much trouble to animate a female character." This Tumblr user then had like a bunch of still images from all these like these new Nintendo games coming out now, all featuring female characters.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm sorry, Ubisoft, I can't hear you over your bullshit.
They then tried to release a second reason, and the second reason is even more stupid.
I have this reason right up here, actually.
The reason is that all 4 characters are a clone of the main character. A clone. How does this... Right. So first off, you're saying it's a clone. Okay, so it's a clone army, essentially. But this is still meant to be in, like, the French Revolution. It's still meant to be historical. How the bloody hell is it realistic historical when they're clones?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. That second reason is a much better reason than saying women are too difficult to animate. That first statement seems to me like a very poor choice of words from
more than that.
But it's. But the thing is, though, to then say like the fact is like these 3 other playable characters are just the same character. It is sort of like you really couldn't like have a little bit of variety. By the way, can I point out the assassins in Assassin's Creed Unity are the worst assassins ever because they all wear hoods in a time where no one else is wearing hoods.
Oh, that's been like that since Assassin's Creed 2.
And one of them's wearing green in the middle of a French city. Does he just stand in the corners? I'm a tree. No one can see me.
That's the problem that's been since Assassin's Creed 1. It's like, you had Assassin's Creed 1, and the reason why he was wearing that white stuff hood and everything was, oh, that fits, because, like, monks wore those types of things in the Middle East and all this sort. Okay, that fits. Assassin's Creed 2, okay, it's getting a little bit silly, but you can kind of understand maybe it's a fashion thing. Okay, fair enough. Then 3 onwards, okay, it's sticking out like a sore thumb. And then you got to Assassin's Creed 3. Oh my god, you look like a sore thumb. I was like, no, let's not wear white, it looks stupid. This game series is getting stupid. And their reasoning is flawed.
What do you mean, getting?
Touche. Now, I will say this, the only reason I play the Assassin's Creed games now is for the multiplayer, which is good, but it's also been the same thing since Assassin's Creed 3. Since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which was the 3rd game. That's why I keep getting mixed up. And it's like, oh no, that's not free. This is free. It's like, but that was the... fuck it, I don't care anymore. Yeah, as you can tell, this is really annoying and infuriating. And it is a better choice of what's going... Oh yeah, they're clones of each other. But then they say like, oh yeah, you set up attacks and all this lot together. It's like... So you're making it sound like they're individual people anyway. So they're not... So it's not 3 aspects of one person. It's 3 different people, 3 other people alongside you.
It does feel like... Would it really have required... I mean, I'm no graphic person, but would it have required that much more effort to sort of maybe make one of them black or one of them a woman or one of them Italian? And maybe somebody would say, oh, but it was during the French Revolution, so it probably wouldn't make any sense for them to be black or Italian. It's like, fair enough, but this is Assassin's Creed, a game where you get stuck into a machine. We're not playing as an assassin, you're playing as a guy in a machine, playing as his ancestor, who was an assassin. I am playing as someone playing Assassin's Creed. That's what's going on here.
And also going as a historical fan favourite. The thing is about the French Revolution, black people would actually fit in. That sounds incredibly bad, but you know what I mean. They would fit, because during that time, hell, the French army had black generals back before then. It got buggered over, because then Napoleon came in and he reinstated slavery and kicked all of them back into slavery, but because he was a douche, to put it mildly. But it was during that time that you had black generals, they had high places in society at that time. So, to have it that they're all white and there's all men, there's no females, there's no other races. It's like, oh, for goodness sake, there's no reason behind this. Especially after Black Flag. Black Flag was a step in the right direction. Now Ubisoft's taken 5 steps backwards.
That's not to say that Assassin's Creed Unity will not feature any female characters. Apparently they...
Oh, they will. They will.
I did read in that statement that there will be strong female characters, and I'll be honest,
but none of them.
I'll be honest. The last couple of years, whenever I hear the phrase "strong female characters," I'm like, yeah, no, it's what you think a strong female character is. But
I could go on
discussion for another time.
That.
Let's just move on from that.
I'll just say,
to sum up,
Alice in Wonderland, Snow White, and all this lot is not a strong female protagonist as much as they think. Oh, well, give them a sword; they're strong. No, they're
give
not.
Give them a sword, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. And just before we end off this fuck off Ubisoft section, I just like to sort of let you know that after Ubisoft's E3 conference, they released a statement where apparently they have a bunch of games for Wii U all ready and finished and ready to be shipped, but they are not releasing them until some interest has risen in the Wii U.
Oh,
And it's like, oh gee, it's almost as if like there aren't that many games for the Wii U. That I will admit that there aren't that many games might interest people. But you know what? If you release those games, maybe something would change. Or is it that your games are so shit that no one would buy them anyway?
They almost sounded like a mob shakedown. Oi, Ubisoft, it'd be a shame if there was no more games on your consoles.
I don't want to sound like some petty, whiny Nintendo fan brat, but to have all these games for Wii U and then to not release them, it does almost sound like they're actively trying to kill the thing.
They probably are. It wouldn't surprise me if Ubisoft
especially
are.
considering that Watch Dogs was released last month on all consoles except for the Wii U. Because they said apparently they wanted to like spend a bit more time on working on the Wii U version. But then after hearing this, now I'm sort of raising an eyebrow. Now I think that the reason is that the Wii U version is all done and dusted, and they're not going to do anything more with it. And it's just that no one owns a Wii U.
Yeah, it's a shame. I haven't dusted off my Wii U in ages. It'd be a nice reason to have some other games, but Nintendo is hopefully seeing to that.
But the worst part about the Ubisoft thing is the fact that I still do plan on getting Watch Dogs. I also want to get Child of Light on the Wii U eShop.
Child of Light I wanted to get. That looks
Sadly,
good.
that means giving Ubisoft money. if there was a way to sort of like go past Ubisoft and just go straight to the people who like weren't part of it and just give them the money, I could. I mean, I would, but
they'd still have to pay Ubisoft though. That's the sad truth.
So I'll tell you what. Let's move on from Ubisoft. Let's not go straight to Sony's press conference. Let's talk about
because that'll make me too happy.
Let's talk about the lack of Square Enix and the lack of Kingdom Hearts 3.
I did read a while back that they weren't going to show anything of Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy.
I know they said that,
this
but
E3.
a little part of me was hoping that was like a massive lie. I was hoping there must be something you can show of Kingdom Hearts 3. Something. Nothing. But you showed something last year. Do you not have anything? We have Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5. That'll have to do.
That'll be okay.
That's not me being sarcastic. I am hyped for 2.5. But
yeah, because we're finally getting the stuff that actually fixed a lot of the problems from the original
not to
games.
mention the fact that, I mean, 1.5, in my opinion, consisted of one good game, one bad game, and a boring movie of a bad game. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 is going to have 2 good games and a movie for a decent game that actually looks really entertaining. And I'll tell you this, because the cutscenes in Days, like when they compiled them on the 1.5 remix, the cutscenes in Days were just so boring and they never ended. It was just people talking and talking. And I was like,
it's almost like Battlefront's trailer.
And then it's like, and then they'd have like words of text. There's like, oh, and then Rox has killed this thing and Rox has fought that thing. I'm like, what? Why couldn't we see that? The recoded cutscenes look set to rectify that, because we actually see Sora fighting Hades and Sora fighting Riku, and it's all animated, and it's like, oh wow.
So what are we seeing? What is in 2.5? We obviously got Kingdom Hearts 2.
2.5 is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which includes all like those extra cutscenes, which are going to be dubbed in English for the first time ever.
Oh yes.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix, which
would
include that very interesting epilogue.
Oh, especially with Leonard Nimoy as Xehanort, which was awesome.
I hope Leonard Nimoy's not dead by the time they get round to recording Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, don't say that. No, I'm actually hoping that Christopher Lee doesn't die before Kingdom Hearts 3. I want him back as Ansem.
Yeah, Christopher Lee voiced Ansem in 2 days, and then after that it's just been Corey Burton.
I'm hoping that he comes back. I think, actually, wasn't the one that Corey Burton did before Days, and then Christopher Lee came back for Days. I'm hoping... I think that was the case.
I think Christopher Lee did Kingdom Hearts 2 and Days, where he had one line in the whole thing. So I'm not so sure why he came back for that, when he would have had more lines in Birth by Sleep, or Rechain of Memories for that matter. But...
Speaking of Christopher Lee, can I just say he released another heavy metal album? Yes, guys, he is a heavy metal fan and he sings heavy metal music. He has also released a heavy metal Christmas track.
Oh lord.
Jingle Hells. Yes, this man is amazing and you really need to check his stuff on iTunes.
Yeah, do that. Square Enix, they had like some stuff on show. None of it really grabbed me. The sequel to Theatrhythm Final Fantasy, which I'm very much looking forward to because I'm
looking forward
to. And the one that James really wants to talk about,
yes.
The Tomb Raider sequel, which
sequels.
While I'm very happy that it's happening, like the title for like the next main Tomb Raider game is called Rise of the Tomb Raider. Which is kind of stupid. Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's like, did you just watch Christopher Nolan's Batman before you came up with that title?
Rise.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not pleased with that title. But
no, the title's stupid.
Despite that,
Square's been bad with that for ages. Yeah. I'm not going to fault them completely.
But I'm still not complaining that we're going to get a sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot / prequel that came out a year ago, which was amazing. It really surprised me of how good it was.
It was amazing because I read about it, and the first one I saw was the other Tomb Raider game that's coming out, the sequel to Guardian of Light. And I was like, I first saw that, I was like, oh, it's a shame we're not seeing the main series of Tomb Raider, but it's like, the sequel to Guardian of Light, okay, that sounds good. And it's like, oh yeah, there's another Tomb Raider as well. I was like, oh my god, yes! Because those games are amazing, and on PC I got about 115 frames for the first...
Yeah.
The material. It's like, it looks amazing, and I'm really happy where it's going.
Yeah.
And I want to
Temple of Osiris is the sequel to Guardian of Light, which was a top-down kind of shooter game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was how was it was kind of like, it looked a bit like Diablo, but it was obviously a shooter.
Yeah.
But it was a puzzle shooter, but it was like top-down perspective like a Diablo game. And it was really good, it was really fun. And also, depending on what console you got it, or PC, you could also get DLC that had different characters. Like, on PlayStation it was Kane and Lynch. And even though I hate the Kane and Lynch games, they were actually kind of entertaining. On PC it was... it was... very famous video game series, Legend of Kane, and it had the two protagonists from that, and it got a lot darker with those two. Those two were like really, really fucked up, but it was brilliant. So I'm looking forward to that. Like a 4-man co-op also has. Does it have 2 female protagonists in that one? I can't remember. Obviously, it has Lara, but
yeah,
the
first forgotten what it's Guardian of Light, whatever it was called, did have like a second character, so it was like a co-op experience.
Yeah. What was the sequel? I think has 2 female protagonists. If that's the case, suck it, Ubisoft. Screw you. I don't know, I'm gonna check this now because I want to be definitely right, but I'm Temple of Osiris.
Yeah. So nice things from Square Enix. No Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 15. Maybe next year.
Maybe it definitely will be next year. I'm hoping we get... Yes, there are 2 female protagonists in Temple of Osiris. Suck it, Ubisoft. Oh, 2 female protagonists, an Egyptian and a black man. Already better than blooming Assassin's Creed.
There's really not much. I think we need to stop the Ubisoft bashing for now, because otherwise it's going to get.
we are really going.
It's going to get very old very
bashing.
fast. So let's move away from that little brief intermission with Square Enix onto the actual next conference, which was Sony, which I personally really liked. Although, to be fair, a friend of mine did point this out to me. A lot of their trailers were just cinematic cutscenes. There was they announced a whole bunch of new games, like Suda 51's newest title, Bloodborne.
Yes, I remember that. Is it just me, or does it look a lot like Dark Souls?
It does say it's being directed by Dark Souls director Hidetaka Miyazaki.
Yeah, and there's something very interesting. Like, one of the images for looks exactly like the image for Dark Souls 2. Like the box set.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you it.
I saw a picture of the cover and it looks a lot... Oh, Skype.
There we go. Yeah, it looks exactly like the Dark Souls thing. It's like, maybe you could have done a little bit something different with that. It looks the same.
Yeah, I was looking at...
It looks good, though.
Personally, it doesn't appeal to me because it was a bit too... Again, it's the whole grey, gory thing. Give me a bit of colour. Speaking of colour, the creators of Journey have a new game coming for the PS4 and PS Vita called Abzu. I have yet to play Journey. It is on my to-play list, but once I've played that, I will give Abzu a look as well.
If you're looking for colour in your games, you're going to have a lot of it. It's beautiful.
Speaking of colour, another download title called Entwined is, I think, out right now for PS3, PS4 and Vita. Entwined is about two souls, a bird and a fish, that are in love but can't be together. Once united, the two souls will transform into a magnificent soaring dragon. You control them with both analog sticks, and it's like you go.
Sounds like Brothers.
It is.
In terms of controls.
In terms of like how you control it, yeah, but it's like a musical rhythm kind of game.
Oh.
Actually,
I like the sound.
I tell a lie. It's out right now for PS4. It is yet to come out for PS3 and Vita.
Damn it! Come on, give my Vita something else to do.
What else was announced? This was a big one. Tim Schafer classic Grim Fandango is being remade.
Yeah, I heard about this.
People blew the fucking roof off when that got announced.
It was such a good game, from what I've heard. I free admit I've yet to play it, but from what I've seen and heard of it, people are raving about it.
Yeah, it was like when it first came out, it did receive universal acclaim from critics. This is Tim Schafer, who usually whatever he touches sort of like turns into gold.
Gold, yeah. I will say this, however. This is speaking as an outsider looking in. People are raving about it being remade and everything, but is that a good thing, having it remade? Because remakes aren't always great. You only have to look at movies and you can tell.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Although I think like this is something we can sort of like be sure will be good, because Schafer himself like has the right.
Oh, is he actually doing
Schafer has the rights to it. He was.
Oh, then that's fine. Then
the rights back.
That's
and
right.
in addition, it says here, in addition to his own developers, Schafer reached out to players who had created unofficial patches and graphical improvements on the original game, and gains their help to improve the game's assets for the remake.
Now that I'm interested.
So Schafer himself is actively remaking the game. He hasn't it's not like with it's not like with HD ports where like like with the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, Insomniac gave it to another company and they ported the game. Speaking of Ratchet and Clank, no news of a new Ratchet and Clank game, but it was confirmed that the first Ratchet and Clank will be getting remade for the PS4. Not entirely sure if it's just going to be an HD lift, because if it was, we've already had that Insomniac, or if it's going to be
please don't
or if it's going to be a fully fledged remake. If it's the latter, I'll be interested. And they also showed a trailer for the Ratchet and Clank movie, which comes out next year, which I'm super excited for.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot about that until like they brought it back. I was like, oh yeah, that movie's coming out next year. Awesome.
And it's got all the voice casts from the video games.
James Arnold Taylor will be back as Ratchet. David Kaye will be back as Clank. Jim Ward will be back as Captain Quark. And
yes.
Kevin Michael Richardson will be back as Chairman Drek, the villain from the first game. Because it kind of does bother me that this movie is basically going to be a sort of retelling of the first game story. It's fair enough, because in a way they're introducing it to a brand new audience. And it's going to be done very differently. And it's quite weird seeing it, because in the trailer it begins with like Ratchet talking about how he wants to be a Galactic Ranger, he wants to be sort of like a hero, just like Captain Quark. And it's so surreal, considering like we've had so many games now where Ratchet does not have any respect for Quark whatsoever.
No,
which is fair enough, but
it's going to be good. I also if they're doing it like how they said they're going to do it, I'm hoping that means that it's actually going to be a very good movie.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it will be.
Speaking of, like, just to go off in the other tone of animated movies, it's kind of funny how all these, like, because I keep hearing about all these video game film adaptations, like, there's a Shadow of the Colossus film in the works, there's an Assassin's Creed film in the works, there's a Gears of War film in the works, but none of these films are going anywhere. Scripts are being written and thrown away, directors are coming and going. There are all these video game film adaptations that are stuck in this limbo, and then in like the next few years we're going to have a Ratchet and Clank film, a Sly Cooper film, and something that was announced only yesterday, a Sonic the Hedgehog film.
Yeah, I saw the Sonic one. I'm like, oh, it can't be worse than some of the games that have come out.
All three of these are going to be coming out in the next few years. All of them are animated, except for the Sonic one, which is going to be a hybrid of animation and live action. Kind of on my seat about that one, but
You know what that makes it sound like, and I hope to. If it does, it'd be hilarious. That sounds like, you know, in the old days where it was like someone goes through a portal and they end up in the time. That's what it sounds like. This sounds like Super Mario Brothers.
God, no, I hope not.
The reverse.
Hopefully it will be just like, because the Sonic games have shown that humans do exist in the Sonic world, so hopefully it will just be like it is set in the Sonic world, but it's just that all the humans are played by live action humans.
Dr. Eggman went for a time portal.
Okay, let's move away from this, because this is just.
I would say there's also another video game movie coming out soon. Warcraft is actually getting made as well, which is it's gonna be fucking Lord of the Rings all over again. But the really interesting thing is the director they've got. You'd never imagine do anything like this. It's the guy who made Moon.
Oh, isn't that like a horror film?
No, it's a sci-fi movie, but it's really, really slow paced, but really well made, and it's really, sometimes it's heart wrenching, and it's like, you'd think, oh, right, so he's going to do something similar to that, and then suddenly, Warcraft, it's like, really? I hope it does well, and see how it goes, but I never would have expected him to make it.
Also, just to correct myself, Suda51 isn't working on Bloodborne. He is working on a game called Let It Die, which is going to be a hack and slash game for the PlayStation 4. It will no doubt be just as insane as all these other games.
Oh, yes. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. As for what else was announced, I'm just going through like the most notable ones. Little Big Planet 3 was announced for PS4.
Yay, another one.
To be fair, they've got this idea where like they've got like 3 extra characters you can play as aside from Sackboy, which all have their own unique abilities. We have like Oddsock, who
what?
Is his name Oddsock? It is a dog that's shaped like a sock.
Oddsock.
It's a sock that's shaped like a dog, and it can it can run faster than Sackboy, and it can wall jump. There's Swoop, which is like a bird kind of thing, which can fly.
Also known as a transform.
Yeah, Swoop can fly freely around and can pick up light objects and other characters. And then there's another character called Big Toggle, who is like the big heavy character who can like weigh down platforms and pressure plates. But he can also shrink himself so that he can walk on water and fit through tight spaces, which kind of introduces a bit of like weight kind of puzzling. So it doesn't appeal to me. The first Little Big Planet didn't grab me all that much, but for all the people who loved the first 2 games, they'll probably get something out of this.
I always found the Little Big Planet games to be like the simulators. Like, you play them and you go, oh,
yeah,
this is adorable. And it is. Like, those games are adorably played and also well made. I'll give them that. And also it's got Stephen Fry as narrator.
Yeah, Stephen Fry has
which always
Stephen Fry has confirmed he'll be back for Little Big Planet 3.
Good. Can't have anyone else.
After that, well, then we have the game which, according to Wikipedia, stole the show at the 2014 E3 conference. No Man's Sky. I don't know if you've heard about this.
No,
I can't really describe what No Man's Sky is. You really need to look it up yourself. But it's a bit like Minecraft in that it has it's entirely generated open world for you to explore.
Oh wait, yeah, I think.
But what's so amazing about it is the fact that you can get into a spaceship and fly to another planet in real time, with no loading screens. Like, you're actually going through the planet's atmosphere, and then you're in space, and it's just mind blowing the way it looks.
Yeah, I've heard of this game now.
I'll
this one looks interesting.
Look the trailer up when this is all over. It's like it is just like a very impressive. I will give it that. It's a very impressive looking game.
Gotta be better than Minecraft. That wouldn't be hard.
Sorry to all the Minecraft fans out there.
I'm not. He might be, but I'm not.
Kill him, not me.
It's alright, I've already got the Frozen fans after me. I finally watched Frozen.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Discussion for another time. This is E3.
Yeah. Yeah, discussion for another time, and leave it on a cliffhanger. People go, oh no!
For those of you who are new to this, we get sidetracked a lot.
Yeah.
We do a lot. This is good for us. We're struggling to just stay on topic. The Last of Us is getting remastered for the PS4. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be shit on PS4.
I don't know why that's getting remastered. It only came out a year ago.
Michael, it's for money.
I don't care.
Neither do I. I played a bit of my friend's one when I went round theirs, and I hated it.
Really?
I really did. I hated it. I tried playing it. I was like, the controls are terrible. Maybe they'll fix the controls for the ports, but the controls was horrible, and trying to actually shoot was just fucking nightmarish with a pistol. I did, and then their excuse was, "Oh, it's to make it feel like you suck with a gun." It's like, no! You're living in a post-apocalyptic world. You'd be a little bit better with a gun than this. And I didn't want to play it anymore, and so when I left, I checked up the entire storyline, and then I found out the ending. The ending's bollocks. I'm going to just say this right now. I don't care if you're a fan of The Last of Us. The ending's bollocks. And a discussion for another time on that front, but it's bollocks. Complete and total.
It seems to me the only reason The Last of Us is getting remade for PS4 is like the same reasons why Tomb Raider got remade for the PS4 and why Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be remade for the PS4 and Xbox One.
And PC.
It's just because they were released at the end of the last generation, and it's like, we can't have those games be the last swan song for that generation. It's like, no, we need these games to look better. I don't care. I've played the game once.
To be fair, I can understand the PC for Grand Theft Auto 5 because people have been waiting for that to come on PC for a long time. But for PS4 and Xbox, yeah, I couldn't care less about.
Yeah.
Let it stay on the originals. Let it be the last swan song. Like, it left on a high note. Unlike, let's be honest, unlike PS2 and Xbox 360. God, what was the last game for PS2? The last major game for PS2 was a while back.
I want to look this up, actually. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, because this might be a discussion for another time, but if we can't find it, but if we can find it, it literally, I don't remember the last game for PS2 or any last major game.
Yeah, I've got a list of PS2 games up here, but it doesn't organise them in dates, so it could. Well, the PS2 lasted long. There's a game here that was released in 2008. Maybe it was those. Maybe it was those ones.
Maybe.
I can't see 2008 anywhere else.
Can I just say I really miss the PS2? Those were simpler times. They were happier times.
But the PS2 is still considered nowadays to be, by some people, to be the best video game console.
It was. But I still think it was. I thought it was an amazing blooming console.
Finishing off in terms of Sony's games, the only ones of note were The Order 1886.
I'm still looking forward to that one. Steampunk. Sorry, as soon as you say steampunk, I'm like, I'm yours!
And Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Which, actually, according to Nolan North, the man who voices Nathan Drake, is going to be the last game. And he actually stated he hopes that no one else picks up the series to try and carry it on. Which I found quite surprising to hear about that, but no.
I'm actually quite happy with that if it's not the last one, because the third one was meh. Like, in terms of storyline, it was good, but it was a little bit shorter. It wasn't as good as 2, and it had a multiplayer that had no reason to be there.
It had multiplayer for the sake of multiplayer.
Yeah, it was the same thing like Tomb Raider had this problem. Far Cry 3 had this problem. There was just multiplayer. Max Payne had this problem. Multiplayer for the sake of multiplayer. Admittedly, Max Payne's was a little bit better, but still not great.
Yeah, in terms of Sony's games, that's really like what most notable to me, at least. Although their conference did sort of take a bit of a weird bit in the middle, where they started talking about television.
Yeah, the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, they started talking about that, and they talked about how the PlayStation was going to have its own unique TV series called Powers, which is based off a comic book. And it's going to have Brian Michael Bendis is working on it. Which, it's sort of like, it's that kind of thing where you sort of think, we want to hear about games, but it's like, somebody did point out, it's called the Electronic Entertainment Expo. So anything that's considered electronic entertainment will...
I think PlayStation and sorry mate, but Xbox has this problem as well, is that they keep trying to go for television or this. It's like, guys, television is dying. It's like, if you want to make a series, go for it. That's fine. But to go for actual television, go, yeah, we're trying to go for the television market. It's like, yeah, you haven't looked. The television market's dying. Let's be honest, a lot of people really only watch TV now for series they want to see. Game of Thrones, for example.
Yeah, it's sort of like... It's like the Xbox One sort of had that problem. Like last year, they made such a big deal. You can watch TV on the Xbox One, but I can watch TV on my TV. This is not.
If I want to watch
a selling point. You can Skype people whilst you're watching TV. Yes, because that's what I want. Somebody talking over the movie that I'm watching.
The only thing that interested me was when they said, "Oh yeah, we can do Twitch and all this stuff." Okay, yeah. Easier to put my gaming sessions on a platform.
Yeah, but. All in all, I'd say Sony's conference was decent. A bit more engaging than Microsoft's, and it also had the thing where they didn't have like interviews with celebrities like Microsoft's. They didn't have some shitty host like Ubisoft's. They just came out and said, "Here are our games, enjoy." Just went from game to game to game to game.
Already better than EA.
Yeah, they just went from game to game to game to game. No bullshit in the middle. No buzzwords as well. That seems to be one thing that developers seem to be trying to do a lot nowadays. They have all these buzzwords like it's an experience. It's emotional. We want you to feel. Can I just play the game, please? Because like if it
make me actually feel something rather than tell me to feel something.
If your video game is an emotional experience, that's fine. But when you tell me it's an emotional experience, you are basically saying you need to feel emotion, and if you don't, then you're doing it wrong. And I hate it when people do that. It's like it's like in fucking How I Met Your Mother when they play the sad music every time something sad happens. I'm like, you are telling me to be sad, but because of that, I don't feel sad. I feel annoyed that you're telling me to be sad. But again, discussion for another time. That should be our slogan for this: the Entertainment Dome for another time.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The problem with microphones, sometimes they can be pulled out.
but hopefully you wouldn't have noticed, because this will be edited.
Yes, hopefully so. So yes, where were we?
Well, I was just bitching about How I Met Your Mother, but to finish off, Sony's conference I feel was decent. But now we can move on to the real kings of E3. Let's end this on a high note. Nintendo.
Did they start? Yes.
After a year of me raising my eyebrow at some of their decisions, after the Wii U getting to such a rocky start, I was beginning to lose a bit of faith, and I didn't think, and the fact that Nintendo was once again not having an E3 press conference this year, I didn't have high expectations. Nintendo proceeded to grab me by the throat and say, "Doubt us, you mortal fool!"
We are Nintendo!
I actually think I now know the reason why Nintendo aren't doing E3 press conferences anymore, because they don't want to bother with all the awkward bullshit. They
want to give us games.
Because that's exactly what they did. For starters, Nintendo, all they did was give us games and a few talks with some of the developers. And also, Nintendo, in a stroke of genius, got Robot Chicken to animate sketches for in between some of the videos.
I think I've got to check this out after this.
You can find them all online. They're great. I won't spoil all of them, but you've got like Reggie lasers a guy at one point. There's a great line where somebody says, "Give us Mother 3," and they have these moments where it's like all the Nintendo characters backstage. And there's a brilliant one where like Bowser and Peach go for the last donut, and Bowser's like, "Hey, sorry for kidnapping you for like the 80+ times. Can I have the last donut?" And Peach just gives him a look, takes the donut and eats it. And Bowser's like, "I deserve that." You gotta give Nintendo, they have a great sense of humour. Established even more with the first video they showed, started off with a fight between Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo of America, and Satoru Iwata. They were proper going for each other. It's like punches and flips and kicks. It was like, holy shit, this is how you start off an E3 conference.
By actually being interesting.
And of course, that was all to introduce the fact that Mii's will be playable for the next Smash Brothers game.
I kind of. Speaking of Smash Brothers, the new trailer, the Princess trailer.
No. Save that for later.
Oh, say that for later. Okay.
Save that for later.
I've got a few things to say about that. Good things.
Yeah,
Very good things.
Yes, we have good things. But the Mii fighters, the Mii's being included does not surprise me all that much because they have been in like every other multiplayer game. But Sakurai has made it interesting in that there's going to be 3 different types of Mii fighters. There's the brawler, which uses his fists and his fists and leg kicks and stuff like that. The swordsman, who uses a sword, and the gunner, which has a laser gun. And of course, the big thing that Sakurai sort of advertised is the fact not only do all the Miis have customizable moves, as does every other character in the game, by the way, like the announcement, characters will have customizable movesets.
Yes!
And there's also the fact that, as Sakurai pointed out, with the Miis, you can play as anybody. So all you people out there who have been demanding for Goku and Shrek, well, shut up, because now with the Miis you can. Go ahead.
It's turned into Soul Calibur, the best things about it, and I love it.
It's great, and what was even better is the fact that Sakurai showed off some examples. Like, you know, whenever they announce a new character, they have like a sort of tagline, like with Greninja, it was like Greninja makes a splash, stuff like that. They had Lincoln get sworn in, Elijah Wood like to battle, and Ice-T pours it on. It was amazing. So, yes, Mii's welcome addition to the Smash Brothers roster, and and also the fact they only take up one roster section as well means that people can't complain that they're like. The thing is, some people are probably like that. Oh, the Mii's are taking up Ridley space. Fuck off! No one gives a shit about Ridley. I've probably angered some people by saying that, but moving on.
I couldn't care less about Ridley. I haven't played Metroid.
Yeah. So moving on from that, Yoshi's Woolly World, which was originally titled Yarn Yoshi, finally got some news.
I'm sorry, did you just say Willy World?
Woolly.
Oh, it sounded like you said Willy there.
No, woolly, as in everything's made of wool. Christ, James.
I'm sorry, that's what it sounded like on the record.
Well, it's not, okay? Yoshi's Woolly World finally got...
Come on, Nintendo.
Finally got a proper announcement, which I was pleased for, because that was one of the first Wii U titles that they showed images of, and like it sort of vanished for a good couple of years. And I was like, where the hell is it? That looked really good. And now it's back. A new Yoshi game. It's sort of like a spiritual successor to Kirby's Epic Yarn, which was developed by the same developer, Good Feel, and was like had the graphical style was like everything was made of yarn. Not much to really talk about that, except for the fact that I'm very much looking forward to that because it looks so friggin' cute.
It's almost like, because that's what Croc was meant to be back in the day. Croc was made because it was meant to be a Yoshi game, and then they cancelled it.
Yeah.
So nice to see that Yoshi's actually getting some spotlight.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And in fact, I sort of jumped ahead a bit, but another thing that was announced concerning Smash Brothers and a lot of other Nintendo games as well is that Nintendo have sort of embraced the Skylanders thing by introducing these like small NFC figures that are compatible with a lot of different games. The difference with Skylanders though is that these figures don't look like they'll ever be necessary for the game, but can do like a cool thing. It's called Amiibo. And like they've got some stuff for Smash Brothers where, to be honest, it's probably worth buying the Amiibo figures because they're so well made. They look really good just on their own. So a lot of people will probably be buying them just so they can have them on their shelf. But with Smash Brothers, you can have the Amiibo to sort of, if you put it on your Wii U gamepad, it will sort of summon like an AI controlled character to like can aid you in battle or for you to fight against, and it can level up. It can and apparently it can adapt to it can sort of adapt its fighting style. I don't know the full details about it, but it sounds very interesting and a good way for Nintendo to make money.
Yeah, that might actually be a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, and like it won't just be Smash Brothers. There'll be a whole bunch of other games that'll be getting them. Mario Kart 8 apparently will be getting some later this year.
That'd be good if it's like across a whole series of games. That's a good thing, because it means it's not just stuck into one little corner that people might not want to go for. It's spread over, which means more money for them, but it also means more stuff for everyone, so they're not stuck to one game. Like Skylanders.
Yeah. Speaking of the Mario stuff, let's just get all the Mario announcements out of the way. None of them are too massive. There's going to be a Wii U game called Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which
sounds adorable.
It's a puzzle platformer game, which will star around everyone's favourite Mario character, the Toad from Super Mario Galaxy. And it builds upon, like, because in Super Mario 3D World there were like these levels where you controlled Captain Toad as he went around a sort of like small area collecting green stars, and of course you couldn't jump. And it's going to be it's going to expand on that idea, and like it actually looks kind of cool if they like sell it cheap. I think
it'd probably be like a downloadable title for like 10-15 quid.
Well, they've said that it is going to have a retail release.
Oh, but it's already better than Capcom with Phoenix Wright.
Yeah. By the way, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy is coming out in the West for download only.
I'm happy that it's coming out at least.
Yeah, at least it's coming out, to be fair. But
unlike certain games.
I own the original 3 games on the original DS anyway. So, and plus they're using the updated artwork, which doesn't look all that great, I'm going to be honest.
Fair enough.
But getting back on track with Nintendo, Mario Maker, a rumored title that was confirmed to be true, is basically going to be a bit like it's kind of like Mario Paint is the first one that comes to mind. Players can create their own Mario levels, and they can choose between 2 different like visual styles: the original 8-bit NES graphics or the new HD graphics. Which, for those who are interested in this,
God! I just thought, what if you could mix and match both?
That'd be cool, but I don't think that's possible.
We don't have the technology.
We have the technology. We can make a Mario level like there's never been before. Mario Party 10 was announced like quite under the radar. I didn't find out until much later. But the 10th Mario Party has been announced. It's going to play like exactly like Mario Party 9 did, where all 4 characters play across the board together. They'll all move together in the same vehicle. But what's interesting about this one is that a 5th player can use the gamepads to play as Bowser. And it is their job to basically fuck with the other players. That is a genius idea.
That would be fun.
And I am now very much looking forward to getting Mario Party 10 because I enjoyed Mario Party 9, and so
that kind of reminds me of a game on the PC by the name of Dungeon Land, where it's basically like kind of like a Diablo-esque style game where you go through a theme park that's themed around like Dungeons and Dragons or this sort. One guy is the dungeon master, who's basically designed to fuck everyone's shit up, and basically lay traps and monsters around for people to try and get through. That's so what they're doing, and that sounds like a very good idea.
Yeah. That was really Apparently, there was a new Mario vs Donkey Kong title that was had a demo at E3, but not much else is really known about that, so moving on. Some new stuff about Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U.
Oh, yes.
A game that is very much... I mean, I was interested in it originally, but now I'm very, very interested.
It's like Dynasty Warriors.
James, it is Dynasty Warriors. It is Dynasty Warriors with Zelda characters, which looks very fun to play, very over-the-top hack and slash fun. But what the most interesting thing about it for me is like its character choices. Link is obviously... Impa was confirmed like about a month or so ago, who has this huge broadsword.
Yes.
It's amazing. Now, Zelda herself has been confirmed to be playable. Who's kicking ass with a sword and a bow and arrow. And, believe it or not, Midna from Twilight Princess.
No way!
Midna.
Oh, yes!
Midna is a playable character.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
And I don't mean like the human Midna that we saw at the end of the game, as in
Midna.
Midna riding a wolf, using that giant orange hand thingy from her head.
Oh, yes, that's going to be awesome.
That was amazing. And the trailer they announced very heavily hinted that Ganondorf might be playable, which wouldn't be surprising.
Oh, please, yes.
But yeah, the fact that Hyrule Warriors is like going to have all these characters across Zelda's history as playable is pretty damn exciting.
I wonder if we're going to be able to play as the Goron and Princess Ruto and the others Zoras.
That'd be cool. I want to be able to play as the King of Red Lions. Not his king form, the boat. I want to play as the boat.
Rise up on the land and just smash things.
Just playing as a boat. But in other Zelda news, the Wii U Zelda game, we finally got some footage of that.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Not a lot, but we did see a tech demo, which looked amazing from a graphical standpoint, and was open world, and there's not much else to say about it. It looked amazing. Although a lot of people got a bit too hyped because there was a lot of debate about whether the character we saw in the trailer was Link or not. Because he didn't have his sword, he had a bow and arrow, and he wasn't wearing his usual green tunic. And a lot of people apparently thought he looked a bit too feminine. And then the developer, I can never pronounce his name, but he then came out and said, "We never said that was Link in that trailer." And everyone Eiji Aonuma, he said that. Everyone shut themselves and was like, "Oh my god!" And then later on, earlier today, he said, "No, that is Link."
Oh, damn it!
Sorry, it wasn't Zelda.
There was a great fan art a while ago that showed a Legend of Zelda game, but from Zelda, you play as Zelda, and it was like Link was like this prince.
Yeah, that looked kind of cool.
That would have been awesome. We actually get a Legend of Zelda game where we actually play as Zelda.
In fact, somebody did a thing where they had they took like screen caps of Link and Zelda from Skyward Sword, and then they said, doesn't the character in the Legend of Zelda trailer look a lot like these two? And everyone was like, "Don't you fucking dare! Don't do this to us!"
The thing is, you can't play Skyward Sword soon enough. Like, once we move off the hardware of like the Wii and the Wii U, Skyward Sword won't be playable anymore. Kind of a sad thought, even though I never played Skyward Sword and people keep putting me off because they say, "No, it's terrible."
I thought it was decent. A lot of control issues, but decent game all the same. But in terms of, that was Zelda. A lot of people very excited for that. In terms of Pokemon news, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we got more footage. Got more footage of that. It looks great. Mega Evolution's confirmed for Sceptile and Swampert.
Swampert all the way.
Swampert looks beef. He's like he got so
he turned into the Hulk.
He got so hench.
That's what I said on your Facebook stats.
Yeah.
Hulk, Swampert smash.
Yeah, and also Sceptile's Mega Evolution is going to make it part dragon, which is interesting.
I know, that's going to be an interesting choice.
I think actually recently they confirmed that Sableye will be getting a Mega Evolution.
That'd be interesting.
Aside from that, it's the usual, graphics updated. Everything just looks like much fancier now. It's all in 3D. Also, Groudon and Kyogre, they haven't been confirmed for Mega Evolutions. They've been confirmed for primal evolutions, where apparently it causes them to revert back to their primal state and makes them more powerful. So, and they look menacing because like they got the lines all glowing on them, and they just look like they look like demons, and like
they look awesome.
Yeah, they look awesome. A new Kirby game was confirmed for Wii U, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which seems to be a sort of spiritual successor to Kirby Canvas Curse on the DS, where Kirby was a ball and you had to draw lines to sort of like maneuver him around the level. Something called Devil's Third has been confirmed for Wii U, an upcoming third-person shooter hack and slash video game, which looks to be probably one of the most violent games to be seen on the Wii U.
Until Bayonetta 2 comes out.
Oh god, Bayonetta 2!
Was that shown?
Bayonetta 2 was... I don't think you've heard... You must not have heard, have you?
No, tell me.
Okay, I just want to clarify. When Bayonetta 2 was announced, I was not interested in the slightest because I didn't play the original Bayonetta, so I was like, oh, that's interesting, I guess. But then the more I saw of Bayonetta 2, I was like, oh, I really want to play this now, but I was like, but I can't play it because I haven't played Bayonetta 1 yet. And I don't really want to get it... I could get it cheap on PS3, but is there really any point to it? Well, Platinum Games must have read my fucking mind, because Bayonetta 2 is going to come with Bayonetta 1 free.
What?
When you buy Bayonetta 2 brand new, you get Bayonetta 1 for free on the same disc, and it comes with Nintendo exclusive add-ons. Bayonetta has Bayonetta has alternate costumes where you can dress her up as Link, Princess Peach, or Samus in her power suit. And by the way, I only found this out yesterday. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I think it is. If she's in the power suit, you can press a button during cutscenes to make her put the helmet on.
Yes.
Bayonetta 2 has now become an instant purchase for me because of that.
Hell yes, this is going to be awesome. Like, I will say this, buying it just with Bayonetta 1 is enough, because Bayonetta 1 was awesome. I'm sorry, you got to punch God in the face and send her flying into the sun.
Yes, I do. I now that Bayonetta 1 has been confirmed to be free with Bayonetta 2 has now become a guaranteed purchase for me, and I'm
also the villain's hilarious. Like, he has this, "Hello, my child."
Yeah,
so, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this. The other thing to get really excited about, X, that big RPG that Monolith Software has been working on, has finally been given a proper name. Xenoblade Chronicles X. very much confirming it to be a spiritual successor to 2010's Xenoblade Chronicles, which, by the way, is my favourite game of all time.
Ooh.
Xenoblade Chronicles is my favourite game ever, and now that it's getting, and even though it's not a direct sequel, it's a spiritual sequel, and that is enough for me.
What would you say? Why was it your favourite?
It did so much right. It had great gameplay, it had great graphics, it had a great world, it had great characters, it had great story, it had great side quests, it had great everything. So much stuff was just right with it.
So it was that great?
It was amazing. If you have a Wii and don't have Xenoblade Chronicles and you're a fan of RPGs, buy it.
I do need to get it. I keep meaning to.
And Xenoblade Chronicles X is just looking even more fantastic because now it's got an HD sheen. There's going to be space battles in it.
I'm sorry, what?
Well,
you have space battles?
Yes, and Xenoblade Chronicles' world was big enough already. Xenoblade Chronicles X is set to be even bigger. So,
oh yeah,
I am excited. After that, a new IP was announced. An upcoming third-person shooter game developed by Nintendo called Splatoon, which is
Splatoon. When you first said it was going to be a first-person shooter, I was like, from Nintendo? That's odd, and it's called Splatoon.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it's a third-person shooter, and it's team-based, playable by up to 8 players in 4 versus 4 matches. You take control of these characters who can change between human forms and squid forms, and your objective is to cover as much of the map as possible with your team's colour. And it looks really interesting because as a squid, you are capable of like traversing through your own ink, so you can get to areas like much quicker. And if you can also, if you're in your human form and try walking through enemies' ink, you'll slow down. And
only Nintendo could come up with something like this.
Exactly. They've embraced the shooters genre, but they've made it interesting. It's again going back to the colour thing, and there's so much, and it's so cute as well. It's all cutie and it's a great game because it's also like quite child friendly as well in terms of like its presentation. So yeah, kudos to Nintendo for this idea.
Definitely come up with something interesting and actually just changing it on its head by you play a squid.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's like Octodad all over again. I'm up for this.
Yeah, it very much reminded me of The Blob in terms of the whole painting the city with your colour kind of thing. So yeah, that's definitely one to watch. And let's finish this off with 2 big announcements. The first being the fact that after years of pleading, a new Star Fox game is in the works.
Yes. Finally.
All we saw was Miyamoto sort of messing around with something on a TV with a gamepad that looked a lot like Star Fox, and Miyamoto has now said that a new Star Fox is in the works, and a lot of people are very happy, and I'm pleased for them because I know Star Fox has been something that people have wanted for ages.
Well, let's be honest, it's like the last 2 Star Fox games weren't very good. You had I'm not counting the remake for 3DS.
Well, the last one before the 3DS was the DS one, Command, wasn't it?
I think that was like another remake or just like a very small one. I'm talking about like main
Oh,
ones.
you mean Assault for the GameCube?
Yeah, Assault for the GameCube and both for GameCube. That one and the one before that,
Adventures.
Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah, Dinosaur Planet, which then became Star Fox Adventures.
Can I be honest? As much as it wasn't Star Fox and it wasn't very good, I did like it because I love dinosaurs.
Well, that's the thing. I keep with Star Fox Adventures, I either hear people say, "Oh, it was a very good game," and then I hear people say, "Oh, it was a terrible game," and it's like, oh, seems to be one of these things.
You either love or hate.
Yeah,
I can, like you said with Final Fantasy 13, I can understand why people hate it so much, but I like it because it's so silly and it's dinosaurs and mammoths as well.
But
and you fight a T-Rex with a hook.
Although I get why people don't like the idea they came up with like a sort of fake language for the game.
Yeah.
Because then it's like the thing is they have all these different words, and then midway through it's like general scales. It's like random English for some reason.
I'm glad they got that. That was like for the first bit, and then they got rid of that for the rest of the game. I was happy about that because that was cringy at best.
Yeah, I've heard it was stupid. But moving on from that to the thing that I really wanted to talk about, and what very much pushed the victory for Nintendo, if you will.
Yes.
More details for Smash Brothers. For starters, release dates finally confirmed. 3DS version, sadly, will not be in time for the summer. It will be in October.
Oh.
And the Wii U version will be in winter. Or at least will be during the holiday season for this year.
I'm okay with that.
It is fine. We're getting them. That's all that matters. But then Nintendo proceeded to announce not one but two new characters. The first being Palutena from Kid Icarus.
Oh my god, that trailer!
Which had an anime trailer.
Can I just say, there is no excuse not to have an anime Smash Brothers. Where is my anime Smash Brothers?
Now everyone's wanting a Smash Brothers anime.
Because, my god, that was amazing.
No, I want it to happen, James, but it won't.
It won't happen, I know that, but it's something we want, because that trailer was so well animated.
Exactly.
It was beautiful.
Pit and Link duking it out, and it's like, I want this to be a thing. But
I'm wondering who they got to animate, because when I saw that animation, I was like, that looks really familiar. It looks like there was a... I'll show you after this, after we finish.
Yeah.
But there was a trailer that someone did for using pretty much all of the Smash Brothers characters with a session with a couple.
Yeah.
And it was using the music from Attack on Titan.
I have seen that.
You have seen it.
I
yeah.
have seen it, and it was amazing.
That's what it looked like. It looked like they got the artist from that and got him to animate that trailer.
Yeah, I don't think it was, because
probably not.
In the lead up to Kid Icarus' release, they did a bunch of short film kind of things.
Yeah.
And one of them was something called Palutena's Rotten Dinner or something. And I think it was the same animation studio that did that. And it was basically about Palutena trying to make dinner, and in doing so bringing all the vegetables to life.
So almost like Mickey Mouse bringing all the broomsticks to life.
Kind
only
of.
more horrifying.
Yeah, but no, I could have lived if Palutena wasn't in the game, but I am pleased that she's there. She's a very welcome addition.
She looks like a character I will play, because she uses moves I like.
I also like her because when she was in Kid Icarus Uprising, I thought she was going to be a typical sort of kind, gentle goddess, motherly kind of figure. But no, she's a massive bitch. She trolls Pit so much. In that Smash Brothers trailer, she saves Pit from Link's attack. And Pit's like, why are you here? And Palutena's like, oh, I'm not here to save you. And just turns his wings on and sends him flying off. It's like, what?
Bitch, I got this.
Yeah. So Palutena, definitely a welcome appearance. But she wasn't the big one, because the day after, Nintendo released another Smash Bros. Trailer, which was titled Red, Blue, and Yellow. With the red represented Mario, the blue represented Sonic and Mega Man, the yellow represented a video game character from the 80s, Pac-Man.
Yes!
Pac-Man is in motherfucking Smash Brothers, and not the stupid redesign either, like his original design from the Pac-Man World games. And oh my god, it is glorious.
I'm so looking forward to Smash Brothers, and I'm hoping it's gonna be good.
Somebody pointed this out. Nintendo has done something that no other video game company, big or small, has ever done. They have 4 of the biggest video game characters of the 80s and 90s together in the same game. 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, the very notion of that seemed impossible.
And now it's happening.
Now we have it. And to be fair, Pac-Man was kind of speculated for a very long time when it was confirmed that Namco Bandai, who own Pac-Man, were helping to work on the game. But still, to see it actually be confirmed is just mind-blowing. And it all the more makes Smash Brothers a day one purchase.
I'm looking forward to it, especially. This is going to be amazing.
I'll show you the Pac-Man trailer after this, actually, because he looks set to be one of the best characters, in my opinion. He's got such a great moveset.
Until he meets my Kirby, smashing him in the face with a mallet.
And also, what was interesting about the Pac-Man trailer is at the end of it kind of hinted that Mr. Game & Watch will be returning. Which, if he does, means that 2 of the oldest video game characters will be in the same game together. Because both Pac-Man and Game & Watch were first debuted in 1980, a year before Mario first appeared. So it's like, damn.
So old games, ladies and gentlemen. Video
game history is being made with Smash Brothers. And just to stay on topic of Smash Brothers, this is just a rumor. I don't know if I very much doubt that this is true. But to be fair, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. when I say that this won't happen. There is a rumor that the final roster for Smash Brothers will be 51.
Ooh.
51 characters. So if we are to assume that, because Pac-Man's edition brings the current roster that we know of up to 32, and if we include like some of the other characters from the previous game that have the best shot of getting into this one, like Meta Knight or Ganondorf, characters like that, I would say that would then put the roster up to like maybe 42, which then means that there will be 9 new characters that we have yet to see. I very much doubt that's true.
But if it is...
But I hope I'm wrong. I very much hope I'm wrong, and that is the case.
If that is the case, by God, we're gonna have a massive roster.
Yeah, I really do hope that is true, but I'm trying not to get my hopes too high. Because it's still a long way to go until October, and who's to say we'll even get new characters announced then? Because it's very likely that, given like Nintendo, like especially Sakurai loves to be so secretive, it's very likely that he won't reveal the full roster until the game is out and we've played it.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, Rob's in this game for some reason.
I very much doubt Rob will be back, but I wouldn't mind if he was.
He what's the best way to describe it? He was interesting, is the best way to describe it.
I liked him because I liked his inclusion because no one expected it. And
no.
It's the same with the Wii Fit trainer for this game.
Oh my God. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a Wii Fit trainer as a fighter in this game.
The only reason Sakurai put the Wii Fit trainer in is because no one wanted her. So it was like...
Well, you're going to have her.
When the Wii Fit trainer was announced, I actually went through like the 5 stages of grief. Because the first stage is denial. So it's like, no, this cannot be right, Sakurai, you've got to be joking, no. And then it was anger. I was like, why did you do this? Why would you put the Wii Fit trainer in Smash Brothers? And then it was fear. So I was like, oh my God, he's going to keep putting in stupid characters, isn't he? We're going to get fucking Gino from Super Mario RPG, aren't we? And then after that, it was bargaining, and I was like, okay, you can have him. You can have the Wii Fit trainer, but put Shulk in from Xenoblade Chronicles, please. That's all I want. You can have the Wii Fit trainer if you just put in Shulk. And then after that was acceptance, and I was like, actually, you know what? The Wii Fit trainer is a good idea.
Yep. That's what we've all gone through.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about E3 myself, to which I would say it was good. We had a good E3, especially from Nintendo.
It's made up for the last few. Even the last one wasn't too bad either, but this one was definitely better in terms of games, I think.
Nintendo have knocked it out of the park, I think, and
definitely.
And even though there's a lot of titles that I haven't mentioned yet, there's still a lot of stuff for us to look forward to in the next year or so, such as Persona Q, Persona 5.
Oh yes.
Mortal Kombat 10, which was announced.
That I cannot wait for, but I have to say the trailer music they used was crap.
Yeah, look, a lot of companies seem to have this weird thing where they put inappropriate music to their games. Like Assassin's Creed 2 had rap music for its trailers.
Why?
Which I didn't get. But just on the quick side of Mortal Kombat 10, the thing I love how when I saw Mortal Kombat 10, I basically thought like I just remembered the last Mortal Kombat game which they did, which was really gory. The last one they did was so...
They're always gory.
Yeah, but no, I mean like especially gory. And then Mortal Kombat 10 sort of came out and was like, you think Mortal Kombat 9 was gory? That was a pussy compared to me.
You've seen nothing yet, boy.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, especially if it's continuing the storyline from Mortal Kombat 9. It's gonna be amazing.
If it is, I'd be very confused considering how both Sub-Zero and Scorpion were in the trailer, and last I saw Sub-Zero, he was a robot and dead.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're doing that from a multiplayer standpoint, but it still didn't make sense.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 9 story was bullshit, but again,
it was good though.
No, it wasn't. I call bullshit on its entire story.
I liked the story. It was good. I like the ending that just Sindel kills every single character.
That was stupid, but again, discussion
for another
time. But yeah,
it'll be a Defend It episode.
A lot of stuff announced, a lot of stuff to look forward to. So, and we've been going on for over 2 hours now, so I think this is a good time to sort of wrap it all up.
We will come back another day and we will do thing, really. We'll continue this.
Yeah.
This for also just a little quick thing. This will be the first podcast of ours that will go up because the last one sadly had a ton of problems that both of us couldn't help.
All of my fault. It was.
It wasn't all of your fault, but this is the second podcast we've done, but this will be the first one that will go up. The other one might go up if I'm able to fix some of the problems, but it probably won't.
Yeah, so you can expect more shenanigans and tomfoolery from us.
Oh yes, us ripping into things and giving Ubisoft even more of a bad name.
Yeah, so feel free to spread the word if you enjoyed this. You know, link it to other people.
Subscribe, give it a follow. Yeah. Please.
We'll love you long time.
And on that bombshell, that will be the end for the show. So this is from James Hall saying goodbye.
Yep, see you everyone.
See you later. Goodbye.
Bye.